The ontology, epistemology, and methodology are very difficult to understand. It seems that there are a million definitions, and some of these definitions are vague and difficult to relate to. I find it easier to understand when I think about them in question form. So, the ontology in red: who am I in this world? How do I see the world around me? How do I view the world? How do I respond to the world? These are all ontological questions. Moving on to purple: epistemology. How do I know that the way I see the world is true? How can I verify this? How can I be accurate? Am I seeing the world as it truly is? How can I know that I am responding to the world in the correct way? All of these are epistemological questions. Finally, in green, the methodology. Methodology is a concrete system that you can put in place to reveal the truth. So, the ontology of the positivist is that I am a scientist. That is who I am. And it is my duty as a scientist to observe one reality that we are all subject to. This is my ontology. The only way I can reveal this one reality is to be as objective as possible. Only objectivity will lead me to the truth. Only objectivity will show me what is true and what is false. This is my epistemology. So, I will use a detached and numerical system. I need the system to be detached so that I can increase my objectivity in order to get closer to this one reality. You know the phrase, women lie, men lie, numbers do not lie. Numbers are objective. Numbers will take me to the truth. This is the methodology of the positivist. At the other end of the spectrum is the critical theorist. The ontology of the critical theorist is that I am an imperfect human being researching a reality that is fluid and shaped by the forces of gender, culture, power relations, institutions, etc. It's difficult to get close to this one reality because reality is always moving and is shaped by all of these forces. The way I get to know the reality is by revealing the context of the situation we are observing. We must know the context. Context is everything. The truth is hidden in subjectivity. Subjectivity is our friend. So the system that I put in place to understand the situation must be connected. It must be involved. It must be participation focused. It must be qualitative. This is my methodology. This is an example of contrasting ontologies. James O'Brien, a radio host, discussed the child Q case a day before. When he discussed it a day before, he focused on the errors of the teaching staff. But on this particular day, he wanted to focus on the errors of the police. He wanted to objectively look at the despicable actions of the police's role. He wanted to isolate the police's role, just like a scientist would isolate something in a test tube. Then a caller said, you cannot separate the police's actions from the teacher's actions. You cannot separate the education system from law and enforcement. Context is everything. We need to know the whole context. The caller had a point. Foucault has talked about this connection between the school and the prison, the school to prison pipeline, as we call it today. Who was the positivist in this debate? Who was the critical theorist in this debate? So sometimes we disagree on a subject, but it's not really the subject that we disagree on. We have to go further back. We have contrasting ontologies and epistemologies. James wanted to know the truth by the scientific method, but the caller wanted to know the truth by immersing herself in the full context. Often, when we disagree with each other, it is rarely the issue we are disagreeing about. You have to go back to the ontology to find the root cause. The ontology of this character sees it as a W, but the ontology of the other character sees it as an M. So they are disagreeing. WM, WM, WM. It seems like they are arguing over letters. It's not about letters. It is their point of view. You have to go back to their point of view their ontology. So before I look at your findings, before I look at your analysis, I need to know your point of view. I need to know your ontological basis. I need to know why you believe what you believe, your epistemology. If not, we'll be arguing about your findings. We will be arguing about your analysis. But that's not the issue. The issue lies with how you view the world and how you verify the world. One more example before we move on. So the character asks the other character, "What is your dream job?" Then the other character replies, "Why would I dream about labor?" They have contrasting ontologies. One of the characters sees the world of work as normal. We see that it is normal to sell our labor to the highest bidder. We do not see anything abnormal about selling our most precious asset, time. The other character does not see this as something normal or something to be desired. The character says that he needs to rethink his life, meaning he needs to readjust his ontology.